So I'm trying to tell them what we do in college to, have fun. So the cab passing fast, you go, hey, taxi! But Bandra has this, which the rest of Mumbai doesn't really have, which is at that they pay us per episode.
Yeah, same.
Okay. And I got
the fact that somebody has told the father to call Dravid Sachin.
You don't have to be Ambani to get that. Now, you set up a guy for what is basically a, B2 sort of situation, right?
Yeah.
And suddenly you go to university and they are, oh, he's come and please come. Principal will also meet you, but only Cyrus can go inside. So producer has to, Rajiv Raghu from Roadies.
I started off with an international format, which Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake and all these guys and me, we used to have a show called
Dilair Ji, so nice to see you. And Dilair is saying, ठीक से कपड़ा पहन के आना.
Yeah,
Vishal, it started.
I've started.
Oh, I'm just reminding you that we've started.
Obviously, okay.
Yeah.
I forgot you were here.
Yeah. No, in case you forgot, we've started.
See, they're still talking and we're still rolling.
Yeah. But let them talk. Let them talk.
Let them.
I'm not disturbed. I'm very keen on people just being themselves on sets. Yeah, I hate it when people say shut up and all. Let them talk. What does it matter?
But I've seen that on your on Cyrus says.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm talking to them half the time, not the guests.
And they're cracking up and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Because
but let me do this formal. I want to do this formality.
Yeah, do it.
But I don't know why I do it because there's a whole 1 minute trailer where the punch points. And then the disclaimer comes.
Oh, you got all that, okay.
I got all of that.
I've got nothing.
Yeah. I copy paste that.
Yeah, we just have the guess and say, guess what's your name, and then we start. Don't do much more.
Come on. MTV, basically.
Are you going to do all that?
No, I just want to say, because a lot of people who don't know also.
Yeah. Well, and rightly so.
You don't have to say anything.
Because
it's my turn to talk. Because then you talk. Because
I just want to say I'm a national treasure and I would like a little bit of love, but that's fine. Yeah.
You read my script?
No. You call me national treasure?
I call you a national
treasure.
Everywhere
I go, I want the Padmashi. So I want to just push for that. Because 30 years have passed since I first did something on TV. 30.
32.
Yeah, we're almost the same because you started your TV shows and all that around the same time. Disney. But a couple of years behind me, not more. And that's it, yeah. God, we're old, bro.
Yeah.
The government should retire us, frankly.
Yeah, this will kind of, from getting the Padma Shri to retiring us to decide what you want.
With the Padma Shri, I want my house in Delhi, our favorite city.
I'm going to just keep this.
I want a big house. Bro, that's why I want Delhi or Gurgaon. Because the house, even the middle class guy has like a small bungalow with a patch, right? You don't have to be Ambani to get that. But here, Ambani's took so long to get Antilla because there was no area left. They had to wait for people to die and all that. Okay.
But you're close by, your neighbors, you're Malabar Hill, right?
Yeah, but they don't call us for anything, bro.
Don't lie.
No.
I've seen
Many Diwalis have passed and nothing.
I've seen you hang out and hobble and nobble with all these guys.
Well, I wear a Zomato outfit and go as a vendor, but even that
I don't think so.
Doesn't work, yeah.
I don't think so. So, I was with Disney. And you were with MTV.
Right.
So between us, I think we've covered like 0 to...
Yeah. Viacom and Disney. This is the biggest in the whole
entertainment in the world.
Yeah.
I started off with an international format, which Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake and all these guys and me, we used to have a show called Disney Club Disney, which is the format everywhere in the world.
Right.
But anyway, this is not about me. This is about you. So what I'm trying to cover here is this demography. And guess what? I'm giving you good news. Ab ye jo hai na 0 to 20-25.
30-35
they have gone into the place where they're in their 30s, 40s, 50s.
True.
And they're loaded.
True.
And they like us.
So you think we can get more work now because they grew up watching us?
So
and
I
all
was
that.
going to propose a strategy between us. And
I'm ready.
Together. I think it's a power union.
I'm ready.
Let's work on something.
What India and Pakistan can't do, you and me can do.
Well, let's not go there because that's a little too sensitive too and too quick too.
Let's not
talk let's keep it to Vishal and Cyrus. So Cyrus and Vishal.
What India and China can't do?
No. Let's just keep it to Cyrus and Vishal.
India and UK? UK, I can say.
How did Bakra start?
Bakra?
Wait. I want to know. I want to know how MTV happened because you don't really come and look like somebody who wants to be anywhere connected to this field. Especially 30 years ago. Jo television tha was very different from what I feel Cyrus's basic thought process is.
No, so if you're asking me which show...
How did it start? Like what is that day? What happened?
Long story short, I did a lot of radio and theatre. The FM radio started in 93, you were very young, which was the first privatization of radio, right? So we had 1 hour and I did a show called Polo Dial-In. Polo, great. I got free polo and very little money. Now I also get free polo and very little money. Life hasn't changed. But yeah, so from there
it's all about the whole.
So we got a call from Channel V. I alone got a call from Channel V. And they made me do an audition. And the audition was really stupid. where I basically, they put a teleprompter on, and honestly, I'm not into contemporary music. I've never been. So at that time, it was mid-90s, and it was something like Red Hot Chili Peppers in English, 7-8 lines. And I'm not really familiar with the group. I know my friends would listen to all that, but so I read it. It was Red Hot Chili Peppers, whatever, some statistics and all that. And then it goes blank. And so that was their great audition. Now he said continue. Not knowing that I'm so much more comfortable if I don't even read that freaking teleprompter.
Correct.
And something like that. So I went to Narasimha Rao and all for 5 minutes. The Prime Minister then. And
So you just started extemp.
Yeah, I just did my extempore nonsense rubbish. But they sort of liked it because the other 5-6 guys at the audition were like really not interested in talking. They just...
When the prompter went off, they went off.
No, they went off even with the prompter. They were more like, they were all good-looking guys who were more interested in that. So I was the only guy who, if I dare say, a little more normal, like just an idiot who came there and having fun. And none of them were, so I was lucky in a sense.
Yeah.
That there were
You stood out. You were different in that.
I stood out. I thought I was like the wrong guy in the room because I was the only guy in shorts. I was the only guy like badly dressed in a sense, unkempt, no hair, no makeup. So there was one guy who looked like, one of the famous prophets, I won't take a name. Long hair. No,
30 years ago, bhai.
Yeah, I know, but one of those religious leaders that started a revolution. Long hair, beard, and I mean, I got scared. I was like, God, this is like a godly person. And I was like this real joker.
Isn't this channel MTV?
Yeah. Anyway, so they gave me a job. To cut a long story short, they sent me to Hong Kong for training and all that. But the guy who was supposed to train me got jaundice, went back to Canada. So I came back to Bombay, or Bombay then, not Mumbai. And then MTV got in touch with me and said, we want to, because the moment word gets around, said, we want you to work with us. No audition, nothing. And in Mumbai.
And more money.
Actually, yes. There was at that point. Then they stopped paying me. But yeah, so that's how I
started. What was your first paycheck?
You know what it was? At that time, they paid us per episode.
Yeah, same
Okay.
here.
And I got 15,000 rupees in 1996 April. So I got 60,000 for the month. Before that, I was in Daconia's advertising and I got 1,300 rupees for the month.
Can I tell you what mine was?
60 grand. My dad was like a little worried. He was like, how do you get so much money?
Yeah.
He was scared. He was like, are we doing something illegal? He expected his failure son to struggle to reach like 10 grand one day. And yeah. Sorry, how much did you get?
So I started with Disney and also it was episode.
Give me the year. 98.
No, before. No, yeah, 98.
Yeah.
98. This was on DD Metro, and we used to get 4,000 rupees. I used to get 4,000 rupees per episode.
Wow. But you did more episodes.
Yeah, we used to shoot about 8 episodes. So it balanced out to the same.
Yeah.
Balanced out to the same.
Yeah, so it was little, I didn't.
It was a lot of money.
Honestly, I had no idea about the money. All the conversation and whatever, so it was episodic. Then they put us on Pagar when they realized that, suddenly we started making a little more money. We were working on different shows as it grew and all that.
But then, that is it blew up here.
Yeah.
It blew up. I mean, but you guys became like, let me tell you, even though I was from TV and I had my own share of fame happening on a different direction, but me and around me, my friends from school, you guys, Nooni,
yeah.
And then Nikhil, of course, was there. Shehnaz also joined
Nikhil,
in.
97, Nikhil, 96 me?
Yeah, Woman.
Malaika was 96 as well.
Malaika. So you were the first Lord.
Yeah.
Like, I know how I didn't even realize, I didn't understand what this people recognizing you thing is.
Yeah, neither did I, honestly.
Right? But it happened? Or were you isolated because you were in South Bombay?
No, so for me, the big change happened because after 98, our distribution was all over the place. As in, so the war was cable operators.
Yeah.
Nobody knows this. This whole world has changed, right? But we had to start schmoozing the cable operators. And we then moved into playing Bollywood music and all this to change the whole thing. And when that happened and they started putting us on, people started recognizing you everywhere.
Right.
And I could see that difference immediately.
Yeah.
And so that was only distribution.
Did it play with you a little, or were you just...
No, so suddenly became easier. Now, before that, we were going to the university and saying, can we shoot you guys? Can we do that? And suddenly you're going to university and they are, oh, he's come and please come. Principal wants to meet you, but only Cyrus can go inside. So producers, Rajiv Raghu from Roadies, they were producers first. So they had to stand outside while me and the DAV college principal are sitting and having coffee together and discussing cricket.
Yeah, of course.
Common.
Or in your case, cricket or politics.
After some time, they sort of merge,
I have noticed that whenever I've spoken to you, somewhere it goes into politics.
Yeah.
It always...
I love politics. Yeah. Honestly, I was just talking to Kunal before I came here, my friend Vijay Kunalkar, as the Parsis call him. And we were just discussing that there is
another national treasure.
Well, I'm trying to push him towards Bangladesh because the way I see it, that's a factor which will unite two countries divided in a T20
with food,
tournament.
Maybe, you never know. Food is a great unifier.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kunal has his lovely show.
That's why he's safe. You see, he can talk to anyone about anything because he only talk about food. It's a neutral topic. Yeah. Unless you make food into politics and start fighting with Odisha and Bengal who made the rasgulla. I mean, small things like that. You can start a war.
Or the theplas.
Or even the biryani.
Yeah.
The biryani fight, whether it comes from Peshawar, really, or what. I mean, there's a tough
But there
one.
is something, there is something called the biryani fight. There is something.
No, there is. It's a huge thing. And there's no end to it, honestly. How can you claim something from 300 years back? I mean, Akbar's time, if you're allowed to talk about Akbar, I'm just checking. With all the cooks that they had, they mix and match. So they have rice that's from Iran, all that nonsense is there.
Let's get back. We're digressing.
Why did we digress?
I don't know.
Now, what were we talking about?
We were talking about nice, yaar. We were talking
Sir,
about,
pay attention. Topic क्या था?
Yeah.
नहीं?
क्या था? कुणाल के बारे में बात कर रहे थे.
Last what Disney.
He's answering. Don't answer. This is a generation I can understand, man. No sense of humor.
I think this is about.
Just
I don't think
rails.
anybody's gonna watch this episode. Just you and me talking.
Yeah.
And at one point we'll just walk away.
But I like podcasts like that. I feel that's one place people should be candid.
Yeah,
Because
it's
it becomes like a TV show very quickly. Otherwise, if you have 10 written questions and the host keeps going back to it.
Yeah.
So, for example, we're talking about Kunal, for example, but your next question is about Rome.
Yeah.
There's no connection. And you say, so have you been to Rome? I mean, why would you ask me
Have you
that?
been to Rome?
No, I haven't, bro.
Really?
No, I can't afford
It's overrated.
No, you think?
I think. I've been.
Or a romantic holiday or work?
Anything.
No,
Either way.
have you been for the
Rome has
romance?
become,
So it's a different thing, holiday
all
and
these
work.
cities, now Rome, New York, Vegas, all these things have become too commercialized.
Yeah.
So
But I lived in New York for 4 months. Hated it in the beginning, loved it by
yeah.
the time I left. Yeah.
New York and Mumbai.
Yeah.
I said
Yeah.
Mumbai.
Yeah.
New York and Mumbai they do have some similarities. They are like cousins from different planets.
The one thing I would say is the pace.
Hustle.
The hustle is in both cities is clear. If you just start, you can't just be hanging around. People just pass you by.
Yeah.
That competitive nature of the beast is there. But the one different, Bandra has this, which the rest of Mumbai doesn't really have, which is they're very fashion conscious on the. When you stand there, everybody passing you is superb.
Yeah.
It's almost, and they're all fighting each other in terms of look. All types of
But I
cultures,
don't think
colors.
it's like pretentious. I think that's naturally the
It's just the way
personality.
they are.
That's
It's like we are the best city in the world. Look at us.
Yeah.
And they pass you by, which I think a little bit of Bandra has that. Not all of Mumbai.
more grunge, more village.
I don't know. In Ghatkopar, for example, not so prevalent. I've been there a couple of times.
But they have a great look of their own during Dandiya time and all this stuff. Now
You couldn't resist, no?
and I know you baited me into it. You fucker.
yeah. Well, I like Dandiya between you when I was young.
You love cricket, man.
I love cricket.
You like cricket a lot. I'm telling you, I still remember it like it was yesterday, seeing that episode of Dravid there on Bakra.
The Bakra?
Yeah.
Bro, that was a tough one for us.
And I'd shot in that, I think it was Mahalakshmi.
Famous
studio.
Yeah.
So I'd shot there. I'd shot in that same bloody.
But his Bakra's in the trailer.
Yeah, but when he's shooting
Yeah,
and all that.
yeah.
But I remember that episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure all of us have like that favorite Bakra moment. And
But the main thing which I've discussed before, actually, we didn't think it through. Now, you set up a guy for what is basically a, Me Too sort of situation, right?
Yeah.
Because we send a girl in and she comes on to
Very
him.
scary.
But if he comes on to her, he's Rahul Dravid. We never thought of that.
Yeah.
We only thought he'll get, and they played correctly because he's Rahul Dravid
Yeah.
and he's a gentleman. But I was told later when I started working with ESPN about some of the other boys from the same team, he said, "Boy, are you mad? They would have jumped on that girl. There's a couple of warriors out there who can't hold back."
Absolutely.
And then what were you going to do? We would have had a major scandal. You couldn't air it, and plus all this will be there.
And even if you don't air it, that time we don't have
But
mobile
everybody
phones,
would know
but
there's a whole
everybody
crew
would know.
involved, and the guys, So thank God he handled it the way he handled it. But the subtle part of that gag, which nobody picks up very often, is that we told the father who goes in later, but the guy quickly. So we sent a journalist, young, good-looking girl, into the trailer to interview him from Singapore. And after 5 minutes of interview on cricket, etc., she starts saying she's in love with him.
Yeah.
And then she starts saying, "Ki boss, marry me," etc. Then we introduce the father while he's saying, "Boss, padhai karo, what are you doing?" and all that. The father comes in and says, "Please, मेरी बेटी से शादी कर ले."
I know.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
But he keeps calling him Sachin. And bro, if you listen carefully, but Rahul playing with a straight bat doesn't react. But believe me, boss, that was the funniest part.
It was.
Because in one point he says it 2-3 times. Sachin, meri baat sun. Sachin, saying the name 3-4 times. You can't plug it more than that. And yeah, but he's superb. What a guy. I love Rahul Dravid. I'll tell you why. Because he's one of the greatest batsmen who has ever lived. No question.
Yeah.
And a very decent coach with great results as well. But he doesn't wear anything about that on him. You can meet him, he's just like a normal guy. He goes to another country, he takes his pictures, he walks the streets, he never has an entourage. He's great. What a role model he is for Bollywood.
I spoke
Bollywood
to him recently
yeah.
on an event that I was doing, and amazing, yeah. I mean, he humbles you. He humbles you a lot.
I think the Bangalore thing, all of them who are most of them from Bangalore are just
Anil
superb.
Kumble and all, yeah.
They wear their fame really well.
Earnest, straight, simple.
And they haven't changed. Whatever they were, they still are. There's no change.
Yeah.
Kumble, Srinath, huge. I think we should all, if you're going to be famous, you should study a Kumble or a Dravid or whatever. I think you know.
But Cyrus, with all due respect, I think you can study as much as you want, but you're never ready for fame.
True.
Because you don't know if you're going to get it. And when you get it, there's some personality of yours which is lying somewhere which you didn't even know, and it's sleeping, didn't expect that, ye famous hoga, and he gets up. And so that's a different...
But they're able to know that it's all rubbish, They're able to tell that, so they don't take it seriously. They don't disrespect it, but they know it's not to be taken seriously.
But
as against some others, in your line as well.
Well, let's not go there.
Yeah.
Let's not go there.
Who won't get out of the trailer till people are standing there.
Yeah. In your line.
Bula, log ko bula do. Log ko bula de. Achhe nahi dikhta. Bula de. And then actors like me with no work will stand outside and say, sir. Yeah.
But how did...
What do you do with your leg?
Did you... Nothing here. Did you...
Is that a lucky thread?
I don't know. My wife makes me wear a lot of stuff here.
So,
yeah. This also.
Well, if my wife let me wear stuff, we won't have had kids.
Yeah. Editor, note please. Here par okay? Ayan? We got that?
But yeah, Ayan jo jaise log hai, there's no... What a bad crowd to have at a stand-up.
Yeah, he's very quiet and I'm just...
In 20 minutes, only we make fun of him.
That's why I take out my glasses, because I can hardly see now. So, I feel he's laughing away. Is he laughing away?
Not at all.
No? It's a dead energy I'm feeling.
Ek baar thuk mara, but I think that was just the way he is.
He's usually very upbeat and all. Kya ho raha hai? Ayan, what happened to you?
Maybe some...
आप लोग बहुत बोर हो रहे हो.
नहीं, कुछ genital issue भी हो सकता है अभी इस उम्र में. And then, once it starts, it doesn't stop. So, you'll have to examine him later.
Speaking about wearing something, I hope he did, because...
He's got a kid?
No, matlab he doesn't, right?
Yeah, who knows? I don't know him well enough. Ayan, बच्चा है क्या?
Don't know.
Oh, comedian है man.
अब उठा.
My God, we've created a monster. Vishal, what is wrong with you, yaar? Make sure they don't talk.
Good. You started. I can't even see him right now, so I'm very happy. But yeah, get involved, yeah.
Yeah.
But how did Bakra happen?
So Bakra
first is great writing. Whatever said and done. Whether you've written it or not,
No, there's no writing.
I'll tell you why. Can I tell you why?
Yeah.
Okay. The fact that somebody has told the father to call Dravid Sachin.
Yeah. So now I don't know which one of us came up with that and all that.
Whoever.
But that subtle thing is because it's like my day Gavaskar and Kapil Dev or Javed and Imran. There's certain, we don't know for sure, but they're both the gods of the team. So Sachin and Rahul were the gods of the team, no doubt about that. And we still don't know 100%, but you'd always think there's a little competitive. My gang thinks, this one and my gang thinks that. So we just played with that. It's subtle. It's more for the cricket lover to see. But Rahul doesn't give it away.
But tell me about Bakra, na? How did it start?
Bakra happened because of smoking cigarettes.
Okay.
I don't smoke. You shouldn't smoke.
Nobody should. I don't smoke.
Yeah, really. You smoke?
No, I don't smoke.
I just saw you smoke.
No, I don't smoke.
Achha. He doesn't smoke.
I don't smoke. I really don't smoke.
Do you want to start smoking?
I don't actually. I did a while ago.
You can't have... you did?
I did. I used to smoke a while ago, but then I stopped a long time ago.
Ayan, cigarette pita?
Ayan pita.
100% the smile happened, boss.
100%. Yeah.
It's like, do you like girls?
He's got
Guys
into
smile.
Ayan, coming back to Ayan. He's got into a very...
Philosophical.
Panache kind of a wannabe.
Oh,
I'm going to be...
He's the West Indian vibe, like Hardik Pandya.
He's normally very,
He's the Hardik of Bandra, is it?
Yeah. Malad actually, but...
Malad?
Yeah. Very happening and out there, but...
Malad is not New York, but I just explained to him ki boss.
Malad?
Time lagega.
हाँ.
Jaisa Mumbai, Shanghai nahi ban gaya.
Malad is Kowloon.
Yeah. Kowloon. But Kowloon's got some gambling at least. Malad mein gambling hai?
Well, that's Macau, by the way.
Look at his face when you say Malad. Itna depression mein aa gaya. नहीं Malad का नहीं है. He's लगाओ Malad. Bro, don't.
See, he's rejecting it behind the camera. Not that. Anyway, chalo. Okay.
Malad is far away, Baba. Why would you
talking to a
why did you put him there?
Huh?
Why did you put him in Malad?
Put him, matlab, I'm not put him anywhere.
So you just made it up?
No. I mean, he keeps... Whenever I call him, he's very Malad. Must be having some girlfriends there or something. Or boyfriends, I don't know.
अरे freelance भी एक चीज है भाई. वो guys just working hard.
वही तो freelance के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं.
अच्छा, that freelance.
There you go, sir.
शादी किया? This whole show.
Oh, yeah, let's get back to what I really want to know.
Bakra.
So, okay, wait. How did Bakra happen?
I'm telling you. So basically, we were shooting Alzheimer's. We were shooting in this place called CMM in Worli. Have you ever shot there?
Yes.
Small studio,
Yes.
right? Loveline, me and
I liked it.
Yeah. So that was the first set was small and all. But the problem is when waiting for a guest, the boys want to smoke, right? And it's a very boy crew, young guys and all that. So I would go down with them and kill time. Now the second part is in those days, Homi Wadia, if you're watching, I hope he's alive, Homi Wadia. So they would send the cameraman attendants, and if they wanted to go down, they'd take the cameras with them. They would never leave it unattended. So
Seekho. Kuch seekho.
Zamana chala gaya abhi. So three of them holding the camera and all smoked. So all of them, three attendants down with the camera, DOP with us, all smoke. The producer smokes. I think Sajid was his producer. All of us were down, except me. All of them smoked. So there's fair reason to be down. Now to kill time, because once you smoke, it's a 10-15 minute break. And we were waiting for Manisha Koirala. And she was running late and all that. So what to do? We were standing down. And I started effing around with the cab. Okay, like I was trying to tell them, because they're all from outside Mumbai. One's from Kerala, one's from Delhi, one's from, wherever. So I'm trying to tell them what we do in college to, have fun. So the cab passing fast, he goes, "Hey, taxi!" And he stops and he said, "Boss, time kya hai?" And he gets irritated and all that. And the small shit like that.
Yeah.
And then one of the camera boys started shooting it because they thought it was great fun. So all we did was taxi jokes and the whole gag. So it went on the edit after the thing or whatever. The editors apparently started laughing watching this with bad sound and all. Just the expression of the cabbie. Every time.
Gradually raw.
Yeah, raw. And so Natasha called us up the next day, our executive producer. And said,
Natasha
"What you
Malhotra."
did?" Yeah. Malhotra. I know, but she was smart enough to see there was something in it. And they realized that nobody laughed at the show, nobody laughed at whatever we did, formal stuff.
Yeah.
And the editors, they loved this.
Yeah.
It's also a little bit of, for my age group, or maybe it's still there, the rickshaw, watchman and taxi driver was always the enemy for the westernized Indian male,
Rickshaw, you're a South Bombay boy, but here we're more rickshaw. So
Yeah,
it's like
I know, I've had the rickshaw experience.
our very famous rickshaw thing gag is always,
Yeah.
Malad jaoge?
हाँ,
Jao na.
Yeah, I did that also, by the way. The same 5 gags that we all do.
You can't miss that one.
Yeah, you can't. So they love that. So she said, "Go shoot a pilot like this." It was only on taxis. So actually, there was before the word Bakra came and all that came a little later. We were just shooting gags on cabbies. So we socially unjust behavior to attack the poor taxi guy, who I later on started to empathize with a lot. And across the country, they're philosophers. So you have a long drive from Delhi to Sonepat or whatever. You have a 2-hour chat with a guy who knows the history of politics in the north, especially the north and east. They really talk to you. And so, my whole empathy factor is much stronger now. But then I was a young boy who was always fighting with cabbies because they charge you more. And, when you had women in the cab, there was all kinds of issues and all that used to happen.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of goodness. So that was it. That was the gag. And then later, we started making more candid camera and all that. So it took a
Good
little
fun,
while.
yeah. What was your favorite one of yours? I mean, there's so many.
And so many.
Delhi, you shot a lot in Delhi also, no?
Delhi, I nearly got killed.
मैं वही बोल रहा था because the mentality of people. Have you ever gotten to trouble
So we found a nice bus stop somewhere in South Delhi only, but it was a little bit next to one, like, they don't have slums really, but there was a lower middle class area at the back. So I was standing like a tapori, Mumbai tapori, badly dressed like Amir Khan in that, what is
Ghulam.
that? Ghulam. And then, so it's so overdone, but still. And our actress is standing there, hot young girl in, less clothing. Kam se kam, what I
Less clothing.
I know. What I was trying to say is, No. I remember Dilair Mehndi telling Shanaz one day at an interview, she says, and of course she's not very good in Hindi, so she was like, "Dilair ji, so nice to see you." And Dilair is saying, "ठीक से कपड़ा पहन के आना." And yes, and the crew, and so all of us, and then she was like, "Hanji," and she was like, it was hilarious.
But Shanaz is amazing.
She's fantastic.
So well.
And she's Shanaz, you can't change her.
Yeah.
She's
going to be here soon.
We'll do a press conference in Lucknow together. She'll speak in chaste English,
Yeah.
not bothered. Everybody's asking her is UP Hindi is all over the place. At least try. No. I'm here.
But that was, sorry, go on.
Yeah, sorry.
Just finish that.
No.
But that was one thing that was really amazing about you guys, that you all were unapologetically yourself. And I think that's what
Yeah. Oh,
no pretense happening.
Don't talk about the VJs, all distinct personalities, all different, but honestly, we're just a bunch of young people at that point, and we had no idea. Firstly, we started getting fame in the middle of it, so in a way, it was good.
Yeah,
So we were very middle class in our thinking. My idea was always pack up fast. I haven't changed.
Yeah.
And Friday night, milk at the bar.
And conveyance.
Conveyance. I took every rupee, and found out later that they underpaid me.
Yeah.
It was 400. I was given 300.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that.
Yeah, and then there came a time where I got very disappointed with this industry.
By the way,
because
you
they
also
stopped
could
giving it-
claim conveyance when you worked with us.
Dude,
Yeah.
with you, I never worked with MTV, but
You never
whenever I
did
worked-
anything with us?
No, but I'll get you into an anecdote about
Yeah.
Natasha, amazing lady,
Yeah.
and MTV. But before that, conveyance was a big part of all of us
loved
as
it.
actors. If
Brother,
you
my
all know-
drinking money, bro.
Arey, it
I
used
did
to be
three-
every money, man.
I did 3 shoes, I have $1,000. This is back in the 90s. 1 grand would the whole Friday night is taking
It's a lot of money, man.
lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
All good. Don't
Yeah.
have to, and
Like I used
check.
to feel embarrassed कि
Yeah.
ये producer इसके लिए भी दे रहा है, इसके लिए भी दे रहा है, इसके लिए भी दे रहा है.
Bro.
Okay, which takes me to your.
I would come in the MTV car.
Yeah.
Because it was in Tardeo first and Parel, so I would reach
Yeah.
there on
Yeah.
my own, and then I would go with them.
Of course.
I was always going with the crew, so
Yeah.
I shouldn't be allowed conveyance.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just wrong, and I would come back. So I would only use it for that little
company
bit.
policy.
Company policy.
Yeah. And then I remember the first time when they
Every
put it in a
VJ
business
claimed
class.
it. From Malaika to Saukar, every VJ claimed it.
It was a kick.
Yeah.
It was a
no.
kick.
The moment they said pack up, conveyance. It was immediate. Yeah, well.
That's a little inside of.
But I think it's a little less now. I just did a shoot and there was
there's
no
nothing.
conveyance. No conveyance.
I want you to know there's nothing. Like that was a big disappointment and change. I said, you know, when people say industry badal rahi hai, हाँ conveyance नहीं मिलता अभी.
But it's huge because the staff wants money and then we don't have anything to
The
give.
staff payment is gone, which brings
No,
me
not
to
that staff, the driver.
Yeah, but
Driver payment was going from conveyance.
which brings me to a conversation you had with Sanjay Gupta.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Oh,
it
yeah.
really struck. And I know Sanjay in the sense of talking and interacting
Good.
with
Yeah.
on Cyrus Says,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
podcast that Cyrus does. Dude, I mean, that particular thing, the fact that
It cracked
I've
me
been
up.
on sets, I've been
The
acting
thing
in
is,
films,
the thing is, yeah.
but to take 7 or 6 vans, go you take
No,
that.
my point is that he wasn't lying.
I know.
You may have exaggerated a little bit here and there, but he wasn't lying. So imagine, because he's a producer also, people forget that he's
But
he's
give
a
some
producer.
give some pretext, give some context.
So he was telling us about some stars who, waste the money of the producer completely by having 7, 8. One guy, we won't give us names, but you could just try and do research. So there's one van is just his gym, okay? One van is the food, the kitchen, okay? One van is for his guests who come on.
Yeah.
So it comes down to 7 trailers. 7 trailers for one person. ऐसे picture नहीं बन सकते इसमें. Picture का budget हो गया because in 3 days they've spent so much just on parking.
Yeah.
Forget hiring.
Yeah.
So
That's much more than the budget of the
no, but
first
he was
film
being
that I
very,
directed.
I know. Oh, really? He was being very honest, but
But I love that.
Yeah.
But a lot of conversations that happen are like this.
But Mr. Bachchan wouldn't do that. For example, when you see the greatest of all time sets a standard, he doesn't do all that. How can some guy who's a one-film wonder or something suddenly have these? I mean, it's just ridiculous.
I think it comes out of insecurity also.
No, I think you'd follow the seniors, right? There'd be a system in place where you say, okay, if Mr. Bachchan is like this, then obviously Mr. Kapoor Jr. cannot behave like that. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
But the producers are to blame for allowing it.
But I have to say that conversation really hit home here. Like when I think of
When
Bakra,
you did your film.
No, with your conversations. When like for example with Bakra, like Rahul Dravid kind of really stuck with me. Now I'm thinking about, did you all do that taxi things when you used to have dead bodies in the backseat?
Yeah, I did that. That's one of the best.
Just an edit point, and I want to say this, keep this, that when we talk about this, when we talk about the Rahul, and just try to get that thing going here.
So the dead
It'll
body,
be really nice.
I've done 2-3 times, but the first time we did it was outside Siddhi Vinayak, is where the dead body gets up. Right? So look at all this happening in the guy's head. We are passing the mandir. The guy is he's doing his mandir thing. Okay? So I also did it immediately. At which point the actual getting up because little sounds were happening, he was getting scared. And the getting up happens there. And he turns white.
Yeah, of course.
And he's a dark-skinned guy who turns white. When you read in books about, he turned white with fear and all that. You can see that with someone, and he opened the moving car. I couldn't stop the car. There's proper traffic. I could slow down a little bit. I couldn't stop it. So he tumbled and then he rolled. He rolled on the road because he just panicked. His last memory is doing this to Siddhi Vinayak. The Lash gets up. Lash goes fully upright. Ajit, one of our employees, and then he jumps out. He doesn't look at me. He just jumps out. He says, "Boss, I'm out." Okay, he tumbles. And then the worst part is we have 3 sumos following and 1 in front because we're trying to shoot with 5-7 cameras. And all of them are men. So when the sumos stop, imagine 40 guys from different areas are coming out, all badly dressed. Most of them are like me and worse. And all shouting, "Hey, roko." So he gets up, he looks behind, he thinks there's a mob who's going to kill him. Don't laugh, Vishal. I was so scared. I remember that whole day. I couldn't sleep in the night. I think, agar kuch hua usko to mere karma mein, how do I justify it? He just ran like PT Usha past friggin' Shivaji Park ka, side thing. And that's the last memory we have of him. With all these guys running after him, some of us saying, ki, boss, mat karo, udhar gaya. Because his fear is even more looking at the mob behind, which is got worse and worse for him. And he just passed the mandir when it all happened, So yeah, that was so I got damn scared.
You're recounting it, it's very hilarious.
There's one Kasai one that we did where the body is hanging inside so we have this, it's a bit morbid, we have these meat slabs or whatever inside, right? So we kept a human being there. You open it, he looks in and the body turns like this, the head turns like this, hook pe rehta hai, no? Actual meat there. It looks this way, that guy started holding his chest. Vishal, he fell.
Yeah, oh.
Bro, I thought my life is over. I thought this is it, bro.
Yeah, but that must be a fear, right?
Of course, nobody thinks it until see, if a gag works really well, we're not prepared. If it works really badly, we are slightly not prepared. We are prepared for a normal.
I had
thing.
one moment like this. Can I share it with you?
Please.
So I was shooting a film called Kismet Connection. Okay? There was Vidya Balan, there was Shahid, there was me. We were shooting in Toronto. We had this lovely crew. Binod Pradhan was the DOP.
Oh, fantastic.
Lovely guy.
Yeah.
So he had this one camera assistant guy who was very old. Like you know that he's there just because he's been there. And a lovely guy, subtle guy and all this stuff. Now Vidya, I'm sharing the story. He's absolutely fine guy.
We're looking like Vidya's behind the camera.
Yeah.
But
Vidya.
it's no Vidya.
No,
it's
Vidya.
Ayan.
What are you saying? We have all the actresses and
That's-
actors behind us. They're
Priyanka,
all-
coffee,
this is the
yeah.
audience.
Coffee, please.
So
Go on.
we respect them. Get them coffee. That's what he meant.
Yeah. No. My dynamic is different.
I didn't want to tell everybody that we have this entire audience behind.
Bhaijan,
Shah Rukh.
भाईजान उम्र
Okay
की
ना?
चीज है ना, they appreciate respect in India यार.
बिल्कुल. So I'll take from that. So we were shooting another and we got into this thing that Vidya and me decided we're going to scare him. Just scare him. Like, hey, that's typical.
Like a normal, just a shout.
Yeah.
Huh.
Right? And we did that. And that guy just froze. An elderly man froze and he sat down. And he didn't move. Vidya has gone to tears. Like tears.
He reverse Bakra'd you.
No, he didn't. He
He actually fell, yeah.
nothing happened. He
Yeah.
was shocked.
Yeah.
And that's the same moment we had.
Yeah. So for
my
few
God.
for few seconds, like
Aziz Mirza was the director.
Yeah.
He took Vidya and me to the corner and he shouted at us like we were school kids. Later on, he was all right. He was a sport. He was a great guy. And we still laugh crazy about it.
But
that's very
Aziz must have felt that when films don't make money and all, no? These things happen. Yeah. I know we were joking about it, but same thing. So with us, the same thing happened. And we all started looking at each other because now, bro, this is the greatest guy ever, but it's the end of our lives, literally. But he does recover, but for a few seconds, bro, he's holding it, and he's just still, bro, time freezes. Yeah.
It does. You know, there's this, okay, there's this song. I mean, it just come to my head. I don't know
Please
why
sing
for
it.
a while.
Huh.
I'm going to sing it. It's a Hindi song.
Huh.
It's,
Oh, copyright.
It's
कर सकते हैं?
let me think. Yeah, listen, I'm not that good anyways on that.
Bro, I don't know about the copyright issue with
तुम
Hindi songs.
इतना
Be
क्यों
careful.
मुस्कुरा रहे हो? क्या गम है जो तुम छुपा रहे हो? You know why I'm telling you this?
Yeah.
Because the greats, you know, like you're looking at a Chaplin or you're looking at comedians or people with great humor. Kishore Kumar.
Yeah.
Once again.
What's behind the smile?
Are you all right?
No, so this is a cliche, bro.
Nobody's asked me, and I don't think anybody's asked you, but are you okay? I mean,
Now I feel horrible. Yeah.
because the moment you told me we had a therapy session outside,
No,
I
because
said, you know,
before we started, he and I were discussing all kinds of things, and suddenly I'm just opening up and talking. But that's what a good podcast is, actually.
Yeah.
When people just talk without thinking too much, because I won't use the word unfiltered, but relaxed. Like
Yeah.
suppose I always thought when Amit and I
you
started.
can give me that compliment, right? You're easy to talk to.
Absolutely. I think it's a skill.
Close up है ना इसका?
It's a skill. Also,
ये जो बोल रहे हैं यार है ना बहुत बहुत
Also,
important.
amazingly, we are both not great listeners. We like to talk ourselves, but yet I think it's a great skill. Because what happens is, if you're say at an airport, which is always my example, in the old days before the internet and phones and people are now not even looking up, but you would just hang with people, strangers. Flight delay हो गया. अरे शर्मा जी, yeah, आपको क्या लगता है? And then the cynicism and the humor and all that. So I like that thing with strangers, and sometimes you have a good time with strangers that way, and people open up.
Yeah.
With a stranger, people you know less, you probably won't open up with your close confidants. You just don't, because they know too much, and then they start advising you. See, we had a conversation, I can't remember what, but we were openly talking about flats and shit like that.
Yeah.
And suddenly I'm thinking, it's almost like I'm telling him everything. Which I would be more guarded actually with some of my friends. So yeah.
Well, thank you. That feels
Because
nice.
all the flats have been bought in black money, and he explained to me how to clean paisa and.
Maybe you killed that emotional moment of maybe we're
I did.
becoming
I killed
friends.
it. I killed
Maybe
it.
we're becoming friends.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. But that doesn't happen. I mean, are you okay? Screw that. I don't even want to.
No, it's a fair point. There are plenty of people like that.
I mean, I don't want to know is Cyrus depressed. Nothing like
No,
that.
there are a lot of comedians that I've grown up with, or the stand-up guys of this generation and all. They're not
depression.
exactly what they are on stage, right? Some of them are, you look like the guy's going through hell.
That's
Yeah.
a better question.
Yeah.
You led me to that.
Yeah.
Is Cyrus this? Because we've always seen you as this, right?
Yeah.
We've always seen you as this guy who's larger than life, talking, giving his own commands, and
Who's
wanting
a-
to finish a line.
who's a
And
bit of a nut.
yeah, well, there you go. That. Uncomfortable with pauses, kind of a thing. But are you that way? Is that who you are in real life?
As I've got older, I've got more aggressive. But it's over the same things. Like I can't bear bikes going up one ways, cutting me. Those kind of things drive me nuts.
You've always been like that, Cyrus.
Yeah. But I got worse with that. But not depression would be a very strong word. I don't think Leos can be depressed. It's
Yeah.
not in our stars thing.
Yeah.
Because we're so full of ourselves.
Yeah.
If things aren't going well, we are normal. When things go well, God, you know what a Leo is like. What's your
No, I don't.
When you
Scorpio.
own? Scorpio.
Yeah.
Oh, dangerous sign like my son.
Yeah? How old is he?
Yeah, 23. We're looking for a Parsi girl.
Rich. Rich.
I don't think, 90% will be, so don't worry.
But what's happening with the whole Parsi community, man? I mean, how many of y'all are left? Y'all can count it on numbers. Sad because some of my favorite friends are Parsis.
Well, to preserve the race kind of thing, you go with this whole argument of, not marrying out. I'm fine. But, there's a lot of Zoroastrians in Iran who practice Zoroastrianism latently at home. There's a revolution about to happen, etc. You'll see a lot of Iranians will turn to Zoroastrianism. The Kurd community in the nearby areas, many of them are actually, there's a lot. So I think the underground Zoroastrian movement is there. So there may be many more Parsis than you think in the fullness of time. So run. Yeah.
Iran.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a good one, right?
Nice.
But speaking of what, let's get into geopolitics. What's happening with Iran right now?
Bro, Iran, honestly,
By the time this airs,
that regime has to go. I hope. Let's call it out. It's a horrible regime. And the people are suffering.
Yeah.
The young generations, the Vishals of Iran and all, they've suffered too much. What they've done to the women, the executions, the right-wing Islamic law that they've kind of pushed through. I mean, it's just madness. The people can't take it anymore. So I'm hoping for that Arab Spring-like thing to happen and the whole world.
it's not like the other side is any better in that sense, but
No, but listen, you can't compare anything to that. Bro. It's just terrible.
What's your take? What's Cyrus's take on Trump?
I think he might be going a little senile, so I'm a little worried about that. We discussed, he called Greenland, Iceland at the Davos thing.
But that's okay. That's a slip of a tongue.
No,
Maybe
3-4 times it happens.
Yeah.
It's not a slip of a tongue.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, are you fully there?
Yeah.
Or you don't care enough anymore. And then he backed off on all his threats, about Greenland and all. So far that's where we stand. But the tariff thing and everything else, there's a lot of megalomania in the behavior. But the biggest issue is that what kind of statesman doesn't talk like a statesman? It worked for him initially because he seems like one of the people, he talks so openly and all. But after some time, there's no decorum, no panache. You're a statesman of the most powerful country.
Expect that. I mean,
talk like a statesman. You can't say he's an idiot. He's a complete idiot.
Yeah.
What a complete idiot. What a big idiot.
Yeah.
It's a bit sad.
Yeah. The Davos speech, if anybody heard it, was ridiculous.
Rambling, man.
Like, it's cringy to even watch it.
It was
sometimes.
worse than me. They went on and on, nobody making no sense of 1 hour, 15 minutes.
Would you ever get into politics?
So, I have to speak good Marathi here, which I can't, or good Hindi, which I can't.
I don't think so. I don't think that's the call of the hour.
Shashi Tharoor speaks something else all the time, and
You met Shashi Tharoor.
I love that guy.
Huh?
The great man.
What if Shashi Tharoor? Let's put it in that situation.
He's truly a great man. Vishal, I'm telling you honestly, this guy should really be right at the center of our politics.
Yeah.
Sadly, the party that he's with is not able to appreciate him enough.
Then why is he still there?
Looks like it won't be for long between you and me.
Where's he going?
I don't know. Maybe he'll start his own thing. But he's fantastic. He's a great ambassador for India. He's erudite. He's sophisticated. But he's also real. He's a real guy. It's not like he's a snob or something.
Right.
Yeah. He loves his cricket. He loves his history. He's very balanced, actually. He's not a left-leaning liberal in that sense. He's a balanced guy. But let's see. Me and him are going to start a political party.
Well, breaking news there.
There
Shashi
you go.
Tharoor and Cyrus
Yeah.
Brocha are going to have a political party. Yeah.
We'll call it Shashi and me.
Shashi.
Imagine the party will stand out. It's like BJP, Congress,
And Shashi and me.
NCP. Shashi and me.
I'll vote for him.
Would you do it? Politics?
No.
Why?
No. I'm not thick-skinned enough. I'm really not. So, yeah.
Also, you have to walk a lot. Those padiyatras.
I'm good with walking. In fact, I crave walking, Cyrus.
Really?
I love walking.
Imagine you're doing you're representing Bandra in the.
But I can't walk now here.
Why?
Can you walk?
Oh, that's
South
true.
Bombay?
We lose our MP. What? गिर गया.
कहाँ है? अभी तो
अरे
यहाँ था.
पॉटहोल किसने बनाया सर? आपकी जिम्मेदारी है. वो सारे.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, yeah.
Ayan has stopped laughing and smiling.
Ayan is, I don't know what, but Shah Rukh is laughing. Salman is also laughing. Thanks, guys, for being here. I
Right.
can't believe they're still here.
Yeah.
They're here for every podcast.
Shah Rukh, Irani, and Salman Dinsha.
Dinsha.
Yeah.
And Vidya.
Not Pala, for sure. But you must be close.
But you guys must be, I mean, through time, you've met so many of these guys, right?
But only once.
What's
Never
that's
again.
what I want to ask you.
Yeah.
What stands out is interactions that I feel that you've had with Shah Rukh. And a fondness or something tells me that you and Sachin have had more than just a...
But I've only done a couple of interviews with Sachin. A
You know
huge
what
fan,
comes across
obviously.
as an audience?
Yeah.
That you know these guys and somewhere you meet them.
He's fantastic. What a batsman. Yeah.
But do you have a personal relationship with
No,
Shah
I
Rukh
wish. I tried to call, but the watchman says, "He baad mein phone karo, saab,
So the watchman goes and picks up Shah Rukh
I
Khan's
mean,
phone.
or it could be Shah Rukh is a great actor. He could be doing an impression. Tiwari ji here, boliye. Shah Rukh ji nahi hai. What can I do? I can't call the bluff. But no, he's fantastic.
You know what I'm trying to say? I'll tell you what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say that I've worked with, I'll put my example.
Yeah.
I've worked with so many of these guys, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes in the whole aspect of you working with them in films, for example, for six months, so you're in cut, you tend to forget that, यार ये तो मेरा मतलब वो है, acquaintance है, anytime. Sometimes it used to happen. But then you feel a little disappointed or it doesn't happen because everybody's got their own lives happening. Does that happen? Has that ever happened? Because I think you'll identify.
I've stayed away from, I would not call them up for favors or anything like that.
Not favors.
No,
Just thinking that, hey, let's have
So
a drink.
I'll tell you a story. So I was doing 2010 World Cup. I had to go to Delhi for 3 weeks. T20 World Cup in West Indies at night time with Wasim and Jason Gillespie
Wasim?
and Akram.
Dekha.
Bhai. No, that's who I shot with later. But I'm saying on the flight.
Good
So I was really depressed because I had a young daughter and a son and all that. Going for 3 weeks and my dogs and everything. I hate traveling. So I'm sitting there in business class, nice seat they've given me, and I'm sitting there alone. And as it's about to, they shut the gates. So obviously the last person has come on. I don't look up because I'm just trying to shut my eyes. It's the evening flight though. And Shah Rukh comes and sits there and he says, अपने आप को superstar समझता है, something sarcastic like that. And then next thing is, do you mind if I sit in? All that. It's his seat. So then we chatted. He was lovely. He's great. He's very funny. And you know how Shah Rukh is. He makes you feel special.
Yes.
That's his gift.
Yeah, I know.
And then he tells me, I told him my problems, young kids, I'm missing them and this and that. Because like you, I think I opened up too quickly. And then, so he's very sweet. He said, dekhe, meri jagir hai. I'm Delhi. I think literally said, I'm the king of Delhi. He literally spoke like that. And I said, of course. He said, anything you need, you tell me. Okay? You call me up, whatever you want, whatever you need, it will be done. Okay. Little like Godfather.
Right.
Wow. आ गया, पहुंच गया. Moment we reach, 7 people come on and take him out.
Right.
Shah Rukh number? No. I'm left there.
I'm sure he did not do that purpose.
No, he didn't do it purposely, I'm sure. But he's great. He makes you feel. Bill Clinton. Some people have this. I did a show with Bill Clinton for
The president of US?
for in Barcelona for UNAIDS.
How did I miss that?
So we were doing a lot of stuff for MTV was doing a lot of stuff for AIDS awareness, etc. So they sent me, the one who won't have sex with anyone, so you're safest one, to Barcelona.
Or no one would have sex
Yeah,
with you.
sorry, that's the better way of putting it. Yeah. And उठ गया ना, sex बोला तो उठ गया सारा.
हाँ, देखा?
Till then nothing.
He was up.
Nothing. Davos, Pavos, कुछ नहीं.
This is not Shah Rukh or Salman, this is Ayan. Who got up?
So I went to this thing and so we had to do rehearsals for 4 days because he was coming at 3:30. I remember the time, and he was exiting at 3:48. We had 18 minutes with him, and they were all young kids from all over the world, mostly countries, third world countries where AIDS had become an epidemic. So it was 2001 or 2, and so I had to moderate it. So first and foremost, I went to urinate 5 minutes before, and suddenly I heard whistling, and then I saw some huge guys behind me standing just, I couldn't pee. They were like 7-foot guys, these FBI types with many of them, not 1 or 2, but
Secret
20.
Service.
Yeah. And I couldn't pee. I felt scared, honestly, I was intimidated. So Bill Clinton, I'm telling you, he's got Indian blood, as in Desi blood, not Native American. There's a huge Barcelona, a huge toilet, nothing like India. I mean, 57, 80 cubicles. खाली है, मैं बीच में खड़ा हूँ, खाली है left, खाली है right. He comes right next to me and stands with 30 guys behind. मेरा आदमी तो मेरा नौकरी बंद हो गया वहाँ.
And it's Bill Clinton.
Rahul Dravid go like below the thing, and I'm about 5'8", he's 6'2". So what happens is he's above and I'm below, okay, with this thing in between, this slab, and he's whistling away, and then he looks at me and says, "Howdy, little guy."
Little guy.
Yeah, but a little guy, you know, the double. So I'm already, now I'm like, how will I do this? Fuck that. So we come out, and a few minutes later, we start the interview. You know, this guy gave me so much respect without ever meeting me. He had done his homework. He knew who I was. He knew about MTV. He knew my show names. He knew everything about Atal Bihari Vajpayee. He knew everything about India. He knew figures. He made a very funny comment about India, and he said, you know, I try to talk to Indian politicians about HIV/AIDS, but when I mention sex, they all look out of the window. And then he said this. He said, 1.2 billion people then. somebody's having sex. And we all cracked up. So he wins you over, because he shows so much interest in little old you. A small kid from Malba Hill doing a show, president of the US. Shah Rukh has that quality.
Yes.
So he comes on the set and he'll go, light boy wants a thing, he'll say, boss, photo chahiye.
Yeah.
So he'll hear it, he'll say, Arya! So he'll go out of his way to make the small guy feel great.
Yeah, I know what
So that's a special gift, and those people are loved. They're great leaders. It's just a natural leader skill. Now, whether it's sincere or not is another story, but you just make people feel special.
Feel good at that man. That's good enough here.
My wife took me to an art exhibition about 5-7 just before the pandemic in Jangir Art Gallery.
Intellectual.
She's the artist, so I have to go. I count. This is my gift. You go to an art exhibition, the right number is 11. Okay, if you do less, that means you're not interested. If you do more, you're a fraud. So you look at the painting. This is the painting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2. That's how you do it. So
That's the number. 11.
My wife's an artist, aesthetic person who loves art. So I've survived many exhibitions, brother. You have no idea. I'm tired by the end of it because you're counting like an idiot, and retaining nothing. Anyway, so I'm there. No one's talking to us. No one's bothered. They're all working. Shah Rukh walks in. Suddenly there's a buzz. Everybody turns to see whatever. I try to keep a low profile. I don't come in his way because he's now the guest here, chief guest, and he's having his thing. They're shooting him. I'm just counting numbers and trying to leave with my wife. He sees me. You know what he does? He comes out of his way and he gives me a big hug.
Yeah.
Very warm sort of thing. And after he does that, he carries on. Everybody's looking at me.
Yeah.
Because now I've been touched by Shah Rukh. So I'm somebody. Yeah. And then suddenly, UAE bhi wo TV mein kaam karte hain, wo kaun hai? All that shit starts.
No, I get it. He's like that.
So he anoints you.
Yeah.
And he doesn't do it in an arrogant way. He just does it because I think he's got a lot of warmth. Genuine warmth. So that's a great quality. And man, can he talk.
Right?
Oh, Jesus. Whatever interviews and events I've done. He's the only guy that I work with and I'm thinking, when's he going to stop?
Cyrus is saying that.
Yeah, because I want to end the show.
Cyrus is saying that Shah Rukh talks too much.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shah Rukh would have been the greatest VJ. He's a natural. He's a natural with people and audiences.
But he talks sense, man.
He talks sense. He's got enough. He's always funny.
He's
always funny. He talks sense and with lots of energy. He's never boring you at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, he loves it. I honestly think that maybe it would have been a great idea if maybe not so many films and actually, anchoring.
No, well,
top of the line.
Yeah, a great balance of both. Like he's anchored a lot of these shows and a lot.
He has.
But bang on. And Sachin, what about Sachin?
Sachin I've not interacted so much with.
Oh, you haven't? Then
no.
Why do I feel?
I have. We've done some shows, a couple of events and all that. I once one plane ride from Delhi, Bombay together. And but the thing with Sachin is not. He's very friendly, but Sachin is not going to talk too much, right? But if you talk to him about certain things, then he's another guy altogether.
Really?
Like if you want to discuss the fact that in his era, there were far better bowlers. I mean, I hate doing this, but there were.
Yeah.
If you look around, Ambrose, Shane Warne, Waqar, Wasim, all around. England had some great seam attack and everything. So he had all that. This generation, not to take it away from Shubman Gill, I don't think you can count Mitchell Starc, Pat Cummins.
No.
In England, who?
Yeah.
I mean, they all break down. Mark Wood played one test match. So once you go outside India, who's there really to challenge some of the batsmen? It's a much lower attack. If you go into that kind of conversation with him, he's interested.
Okay.
Yeah. But
my interaction with Sachin Tendulkar, can I share?
Oh, that's why you set it up, because of Vishal and Sachin.
No, I really want to know because I feel that you've had these connections with people. But okay. We were doing this ad together for Boost. Boost is a secret. So we were shooting it together. And we had a little break where we were playing carom, right? And he's damn good at carom.
Yeah. Oh, he's very competitive. So he's
very
good at everything.
competitive, man.
That's why he's a champion.
Like I took the Queen in and he stopped talking to me.
Table tennis, everything.
Yeah.
He'll play to win, and he'll play probably more serious than cricket because the talent is not as much as cricket.
That's what I hit the Queen in.
Who won?
And I hit the Queen in.
You hit the Queen in. But was it a fluke?
Carom mein ho gaya. Fluke ya? No, I hit it.
Be honest, are you good?
So I'm recent, but he turned around his whole attitude, not in a bad way, but his whole attitude was But then I asked him something. I was like, that time the whole Shoaib versus Sachin Tendulkar, that was happening. So I said, in a tongue-in-cheek, got a little comfortable. I said, sir, Sachin bhai, Shoaib bhai ke baare mein kya soch hai? Dude, silence.
Why?
I don't know. There was no communication in that topic, and it felt like skip, move on. So that was my interaction with him about a certain conversation.
I would say Shoaib had his number. I don't think that's a fair comment. He's made lots of runs in all forms against Pakistan at that time.
No, I'm not saying good or bad. I just said, what's your point on it? What's your take?
So what do you think? Why was he quiet?
Maybe he
didn't like
maybe I'll tell you why. Maybe it was a wrong question at the wrong time and taken in a wrong way also.
Yeah.
Which was this: that at that time in the media, there was a lot about this fight between them or this competition.
I don't think there was any
competition
fight.
was there or whatever.
In
So
fact,
maybe it
all
was
the sledging was Viru and Shoaib.
I don't know. But
Sachin, nobody sledged because
So
Sachin
maybe-
is famous for like, I'll bat for the whole day now.
Yeah.
So you didn't sledge Sachin, you didn't sledge Lara because if he gets angry, he bats.
Yeah.
Virat, you don't sledge, if he gets angry, he bats.
Look what he's doing now.
Look,
Man.
exactly. Now.
It's like Punna se khela.
Yeah.
है ना?
And it looks like he invented one day cricket.
Hey, but
He's
what's
kind of-
your take on Gautam Gambhir and Virat? What's happening there? Explain it to me.
No, I don't think there's anything. I think you're overdoing
Yeah.
this shit. Personalities do clash and all that.
Yeah.
For sure, they're both Delhi boys. Gautam was a senior, so they have their own dynamic, which is there. But I think we're overdoing this. I've worked with Gautam.
Yeah.
He's a very straight shooter.
Yeah.
He's got his ideas, but he's the coach. You have to go with him. No? He's got a tenure. You don't like it, you drop him. Go for the next guy.
What happened with the whole test match thing with Gautam Gambhir and Virat and Rohit?
But how will you retain them, bro?
I'm asking.
I'm asking you, how will you retain them? They could have played in England if you want, but how much
look at
more?
the form that
There's-
Virat
but there's,
and
but there's no
Rohit are-
test cricket for 7 months, 8 months after that. So what's the plan here? You know, forget the one day thing. I'm just saying in test matches, you have to look at Australia would never keep their old players after a point. I know they're all old players in the Ashes, but Usman Khawaja must have been told this is your last season.
So you don't think Virat or Rohit will contribute as much?
I think they would have
Test
played
match?
decently in England because the wickets were also not the most difficult wickets. I think Australian wickets were very tough. Nobody really scored from either side if you look at it. The BGT that we lost 3-1. And I think they would have been okay in England for one more season. But then you've got South Africa and West Indies at home, and then you have an 8-9 month gap. So the point is, then when do they stop? I mean, they could have let them play till South Africa
Right.
and have a swan song at home if they
So
wanted.
you're looking at this whole Gautam, Virat, Rohit thing as
I'm
just
thinking you have
what
to pull
it
the
is.
plug at some point.
Yeah.
It's his job to pull the plug. It's not a. I mean, I'm not an anti Gautam Gambhir guy from any angle.
Nor am I.
I don't think that's the right way because he's got a bullish personality and he rubs people the wrong way. It means nothing.
Yeah.
What's the performance? What's he bringing to the game?
Yeah.
Is he trying to make India win? 100%.
And at the end of the day, it's about Team India.
100% his heart is in the right place.
Absolutely.
You've got to remember that.
I get that. I share that view.
And I've worked with him closely. I've done some shows at ESPN together. I've worked with him at Kolkata Knight Riders. I've seen him at work.
Yeah.
He's not full of himself or anything.
Yeah.
He's just a strong character with a strong mind and strong beliefs. But in a coach, I'm saying that you want the coach to have that, right? Whoa, you want some joker to just sit around and say, okay,
No. You need
Sachin, do
somebody
whatever
strong.
you want, Virat, do whatever you want. It's not going to work, bro.
I think what also went against that whole little bit which was televised. That
Virat, Gautam, they are explosive personalities. I fight with my wife every day.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the way our personalities are. We just fight.
Yeah.
But people are taking it too seriously, They're just two Delhi boys. One's a West Delhi boy, known to be the gunda of the country.
Right.
Okay, when they're growing up. I mean, it's a surface thing.
Yeah. So let's take
There's
it as it is. Everybody has the interest of Team India in the.
Steve Waugh in his book has written up. Now we made a very serious podcast, by the way.
Yeah,
In his
no,
book, Out of Your Comfort Zone, he says, why do people think 15, 16 players living together on a tour will all get along? Look at Big Boss. It's exactly the same formula. You think you can get along?
No.
You can't. It's impossible. There will be cliques, there will be friendships, and there will be people who are. But Javed and Imran will perform for Pakistan.
Yeah.
Sunny and Kapil will perform.
So you get together for the main
You're
cause.
playing a game. You don't have to be lovers.
Yeah.
So what's the big deal?
But
Gautam will have closer confidence than Virat. That's fine, and Virat will have closer confidence. But how does it matter? I think we get too close to that shit. Stay with the cricket.
Yeah.
Watch the ball, bro. That's what I think. And I think he's a decent coach. He's had mixed results, no doubt. But it's also a team that is not batting that well in red ball. If you look at it, we're struggling at home. And that's not his fault. We can't play spin. It's because this whole generation has come up, which is not Vishwanath Gavaskar, Dravid, Sachin, who could go back and across or go forward. And they're all eye batsmen who can't play attritional cricket. It's not just India, it's all over the world.
But let's get to New Zealand also. They played damn well, yeah.
And
I feel in the last match it was fantastic.
Vishal, if you're a betting man, 5 million is the population.
Yeah.
And they beat us both in test and one day games.
Incredible.
One day cricket. And they beat us 3-love. I was there in Mumbai for the last game. We were trying to shoot it for our podcast.
Okay.
We're doing a chat and all that while watching the game.
Wow,
And
yeah,
we
your
thought we
podcast
had-
is very fancy, yeah. I just get to sit in this room and
Bro, no.
talk to guys in shorts.
Guerrilla warfare. Yeah. We just got in there. There's no permissions, nothing. We started shooting. But the thing is that we thought we'd have a little time. India was chasing 124 or something. And we thought it would last a little bit.
Yeah.
It was over by lunch.
Yeah, shit.
And you should see how the crowd went from cheering. Rishabh Pant hit a few shots and looked like we might win at that point. And just cheering and, Hindustan, Zindabad and every joke that you can think of. And then suddenly the abuse within few minutes.
Yeah.
How we Indians are. With 2 minutes, come on Rishabh Pant. And then 5 minutes he gets out. And and then kind of cynical comments you heard.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, but that's that's the energy of it. Women cricket, yeah. I love where it's going.
That Jemima semi-final 100, that partnership with Harmanpreet.
I love the Josh, yeah.
And I watched with my mother because my dad is no more and we three used to watch cricket together. That was one family thing. So my mom and me are watching. And and you start, for the first time I got really involved in women's cricket. I got to say, now I'm a full fan.
Absolutely.
What a fantastic
I take
partnership.
I've taken my daughter for certain matches and she plays cricket. My daughter's a pace bowler, by the way.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, and she bats also very well.
Yeah, wow.
So good stuff. But
No, it's grown a lot, brother. I see the Oval where I take my dogs all the time. There's so many women playing now.
Amazing.
And talent, you can see the talent.
It feels good,
We
right?
just didn't allow women to play cricket. And suddenly now just see the difference because we have a huge pool.
Yeah.
It's great. And that, like I said, that partnership, just that one partnership just turned me around.
Yeah.
I was thinking 83 Couple Day, I was suddenly, the romance.
Oh, you went there.
Yeah, but lesser known Indian women cricketers fighting against, they're slightly below in the seeding, Australia, England, New Zealand, South Africa. But now, no. Now we're right there.
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah, I got that 83 feeling, where I was 11 years old, I couldn't believe that we could win the world.
It was a moment for sure.
Yeah.
The biggest anti-casting I've seen for you, I'm just gonna get down to wrapping these things up because I can talk to you forever. But
Sweetie.
The biggest I didn't make eye contact when I said that.
Papa, he's not even looking up now, he's on the phone.
He's gone to sleep.
He's watching another podcast. Who's going to sleep? Do you shoot this.
Yeah. Hey.
This will be great.
He's gone to sleep.
Can't you, do you have a cam? Shoot it on your cam.
I don't know. Damn it.
This is a golden moment.
Big Boss was a big anti-casting. I can't ever imagine you doing
No,
that.
so I'll tell you what happened. In 2023, it was, right? We, after 16 years and 8 months, they cancelled our show in June. So I had no work.
This is
My week that wasn't.
The week that
Yeah.
show, yeah.
So there was a little money gone and there was work. I would work right for
Why
2
did they
days.
do
and
that? It was such a great show.
So they lost interest in features. Once Rajiv went, it was more and more getting worse and worse. Interest was not there. There was no issue about government and all that. Nothing all rubbish. First, they got rid of Abbas-Mustan, who had a very big show on CNN.
Yeah.
And then once that happened, we sort of knew these guys are trying to shut us all down and just be news.
Oh, man.
And so whatever, it's nothing personal. It happened in the end, and we had a run of almost 17 years. I had no work. So every year they asked me for Big Boss, and every year I asked, is there non-veg food? Which was always my issue. And so this year I said, they pushed it a little bit, and very sweet girl, lady who I won't mention, Shifa. And so finally, I succumbed. And
Was
I
it
went.
good? Was it fun?
So it wasn't that bad. People think it was that bad, but it wasn't.
Yeah, but so I've been asked to come, but I'm really scared. And
Look, I'll tell you the issues, especially now that you're 47, 48. You have to worry about the toilet, because you're sharing it after so many years with 16 people. This guy has 4 flats. They have 12 toilets and 3 people. Okay, now reverse that, and it's going to be like 18 people at a go, and maybe 1 toilet because they shut one for whatever reason in the middle and all that.
sharing a toilet?
Bro, that's one big issue. Second, the sleeping. Okay, they make you. I sleep at 8:30.
Right.
And they basically, we can't tell the time. It's around 11 that they allow you.
What do you mean you can't tell the time?
There's no clock. You're not allowed anything.
That is a
There's
mind.
See, the way I know what day.
You're not allowed
how I
watches.
knew. Sorry.
You're not allowed watches.
Nothing. So you know how I knew the days, because I work out every day. I don't take breaks anymore at my age. So I knew on Monday I'm doing shoulders, Tuesday legs, Wednesday chest, Thursday back, Friday arms, Saturday push pull, Sunday hams. So I stick with that, and that's why I knew every day, because I know that's my routine. So you wouldn't know the day. So we didn't know when Bebika's birthday was. She wasn't sure, because then they sent a message saying it is your birthday. For example, because
That's freaking me out right now.
say 20 days into the show, she knew was her birthday, but you couldn't say for sure, because you lose. That's thank God for my thinking and the way I work out, because otherwise I would not know really. How do you know?
That's enough
There's
to
no
get you
pen or
mental,
paper
yeah.
to mark anything. Nothing is there.
But that's enough to get you mental.
So you got to be in this sukoon atmosphere of zen, like, that's the way to do it. Otherwise you start getting riddled. Yeah, all these things will rattle you. Your anxiety will go up. But I got to say, the women were lovely without exception. Each and every woman. Okay, it sounds creepy, but they were really nice. They were really nice to me, and they were very warm. And thank God they looked after me like a child, and I'm the oldest guy there. Okay, they knew I needed my eggs and all that. They would sacrifice,
Who's
give me
this in
eggs.
specific? I mean,
All of them. I mean, I have to sit and remember names, which will take me hours. But Pooja, Bebika, all the others, Alia was very nice. Oh God, forgive me if I forget names right now.
Right.
But all of them, without exception, not a single female gave trouble. Males were also fine. It's not like there was any clash. I think there was a little pretend to be competitive going on, because they know that if they do this, they shout loud, they get the ratings go up and people recognize them and whatever.
strategy.
Yeah, the strategy was always to create drama, so you're enhancing your position in the show, and which I could tell. So, but I actually got along with everyone. So I can't,
How long were you there for?
I was there for about 24 days, if I remember correctly.
And was it like something you decided, or you got eliminated, or what?
No, my son wasn't too well and all that, so they finally let me out. But
Is he okay now?
Yeah. But I was trying to get out for a long time because I was starving. In 24 days.
Only vegetarian food, that's why.
Not just the quantity is not much, bro. It's not just the veg. Veg is always a
So
headache.
wait a minute, let me get this right. They starve
Bro,
you,
there's only so much food, okay? And you have to share it.
but that's a part of the...
Yeah, that's why you fight and all, no? You start feeling hungry and all for people like me.
never
the
saw it from
The
that
girls were
perspective.
damn happy. So, they would come up and say, Kamar to kam ho gaya. And they're all happy because they can feel it, right?
But your muscle depletes.
Muscle depletes, energy depletes, you're feeling irritated. And I like to eat really heavy.
Did you have a fight with anybody, or did you get irritated or something?
I think Puri superstar in the beginning because of some toilet issue, but he turned out to be a great friend afterwards.
Are you also in touch now when you're out?
On Insta a little bit, we always send hearts. Nothing more than that, but yeah. But
Isn't this it?
But I'll be lying if I said, I got really good vibes.
Good. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm surprised.
And I think a lot of it is acting. You're playing to the gallery, so you got to not take it too seriously when people fight over small things.
But well done, yeah. I mean, you fitting into... You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You fitting into a Big Boss scenario.
Also, bro, Vishal,
Great
I
casting.
went back happily to my family. I used to get so irritated with everybody. I was dying to go back to my mother. Like a good Parsi boy, go back home, go back to my wife.
You value them a lot
My wife
more
was
now.
suddenly Zeenat Aman. I married the best. They're all great. My kids, my dogs, you really value all that.
Yeah,
because
of
when you
course.
don't have it. And thank God for people like Pooja and Devika and all the others. I don't want to forget names. They're all fantastic. Vishal, I've got 5 offers many years back, over the years actually, for Bakra movies.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I mean, just
That's typecasting, right? That's
no,
big.
it's not. It's movies where either Bakra was the center,
Yeah, of course.
the name was Bakra, it was about Candid camera, it was all that. But
Yeah.
5 different people
Yeah.
with different scripts.
I'm glad you didn't do that.
No, but none of them were Rohit Shetty or, Sanjay Leela Bhansali.
Exactly.
They were like slightly unknown.
But would you like to? Because I'm saying it again and again, because you're a theatre background, and as somebody who's been in front of the camera for
But the
30
thing
years.
is, when we shoot TV and we shoot podcasts and we do all this quickly, the patience game is another problem.
Especially
we
now.
want to work from 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock in the night
Yeah.
For many days. Because we shot that penthouse film which didn't release, which is now called Tiswi Manzil during a pandemic.
What is it?
So it's called The Loft, the Netflix show.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was a Netflix property. They've done it in 4-5 languages: Spanish,
Yeah,
French,
yeah, of
English.
course, huh.
Then they want to do it in Hindi. Abbas-Mustan. So it was cut to cut the same. The frames and only language changed. Everything was the frames were the same. The look was almost the same. All that I thought it was a pretty good film. We shot in the pandemic, in trouble, but they didn't, I think, make deadlines or whatever. So cut a long story short, Netflix it was bought by Geo. I don't know what happened to it after that. So either they dumped it or they just kept it for when one of us dies. They can release it.
Well,
There's Arjun Rampal, Bobby Deol. It's got a big cast.
and there's Cyrus Brocha.
Smallest name, but what the hell.
Aaron
But I had fun shooting that.
Aaron
Yeah.
Jones. You know,
And Abbas-Mustan means
I-
great food. We got
I've worked with Abbas-Mustan,
Yeah.
a film called Naqab.
Yeah.
Also Bobby Deol and Akshay Khanna.
Gujarati bolich. Toru. Huh?
Thompson brothers are Tintin.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something really funny about that with a lot of respect
Yeah,
and love? I love these guys.
You cannot not like Abbas-Mustan. Actually, all 3 of them.
All 3 of them. But do you know something? They are so amazing, and you should learn this as brothers. They do everything at the same time. So they drink water at the same time, eat for them. So because they drink water at the same time also, you're on the loo also at the same time.
Yeah.
So when you had an experience with Bill Clinton,
Yeah.
I remember being in a washroom and suddenly there's Abbas bhai, Mustan bhai, and
But what a happy set.
Beautiful.
They don't lose their temper. They don't speak rudely. They're always friendly.
so
So soft-spoken. Yeah. It's another world. It's almost like an India that's gone.
Abbas bhai, Mustan bhai, we love you.
Yeah.
We love you very much and work with us.
There's not a person who will say a bad thing about them. I can't think. They're just the nicest guys.
They really are.
Anyway, so the film, I don't know what happened to it.
And the twists and the turns that they get in
Yeah,
every moment.
yeah.
That nobody, I don't think people make thrillers like that anymore. I mean, you gotta live with
Oh,
it.
I had to do a sex scene. Well, it's not really a sex scene, but it is some sort of sexual acting going on in me and one lady. And we're stuck in a fountain, like a bath area, and doing it. And they have to they want to tell her, but they're all men on the set. So they tell me, which means it's for her. Huh? I'm just okay. I mean, sounding dirty, but it's not. What they meant was bring the face in front and all that. But they don't want to make eye contact and tell her. So she's where you are.
Yeah.
I'm here where I am, and they're talking to me like this and just ignoring her because they don't have the heart to tell the woman. And I'm cracking up because I know exactly what's going on. You're trying to tell her to move her face. The camera catches it, but she has to go over my body in a very awkward position to do that. And you don't have the guts to talk to her like like that. So you're telling uncle, and now that like his uncle's fault, so he goes under her paw and her head comes up. I mean, all you have to do is tell her, boss, come forward, catch the light, just go over this guy. That's it. But nobody has the guts to say
that's
that.
a
That's how sweet they are.
Yeah.
That they'll not cross that line.
That's the purity of Abbas.
Yeah. And then,
And
but it also made that awkward moment so funny. That both of us laughed so much after that. We were damn cool in the shot after that. We just bonded. Because we realized what a horror it is for them.
It's very difficult to
very
shoot intimate scenes.
And to instruct. I mean, if it's your age group or whatever, if you and me, it's a little different, right?
Me will never be in a...
No, I hope not. But if I was your director, it'd be very easy for me to talk to you.
Yeah.
But now Abbas-Mustan is another world. This girl they haven't met this girl before. She's much younger than me and I'm younger than them, so you can do the maths. So all that is there. And also they come from a world where you don't talk to women like that, bro. You can't. They wouldn't. Forget me too. They just wouldn't. Yeah. So I'm getting this second commentary.
It's the purity,
and they just wanted to catch more light and move her body position, which was an awkward thing to say because just go over me. Yeah. Alright? But now why am I being told this? Because I'm not doing anything. I stay where I am. She's gotta move, bro. Why are you telling me? How much we laughed. It was great, yeah.
There's one person I'd love to speak with, just interact with, like we're interacting, is a guy who's Conan O'Brien.
Oh, I love Conan.
Yeah. I thought as much.
Have
you met him?
I'm inspired by him because he just has like one formal joke and talks for 10 minutes.
Exactly. I see that.
Fellow guy doesn't want to work hard. You can feel that. But he's great fun, yeah.
And like us, I'm sorry, I'm going to put myself in this category. We're eager to please, man.
Yeah.
Right? And just keep talking.
He enjoys himself. You can see he's enjoying himself. He's not under pressure.
But, listen,
we're done?
Are we done? Because I don't know what's up with him.
Bro,
he's gone through 4 podcasts by the time we're done this.
He's like a relative,
Cyrus, listen, man, on a serious note, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You are somebody who's legendary in that sense.
Before we leave, who did I talk to about conveyance?
We don't do conveyance. I'm so sorry.
Brother.
We don't do. Listen, your biceps are
breaking my heart, brother.
But in your case, we'll make an example.
Maybe आपको मिलता है या नहीं conveyance?
हमारे जो next guest है उनसे ले लेते हैं.
अंधेरी ज़्यादा बैंजोत. पैसा तो देना चाहिए ना कम से कम.
Cyrus Brocha, the house.
What is rickshaw from Andheri to Bandra? Any idea rickshaw from Andheri to?
Yeah, I know. It'll be around 100, 200 bucks.
Oh, only that much? I thought it'd be much more now, yaar.
नहीं अभी तो 200 is a lot, yaar. Yeah, remember I used to be in an era where it used to be 1 rupee 60 paisa minimum fare.
Shall I slap you?
Why?
It was 75 paisa minimum fare.
Yeah, I
remember 1 rupee. In 3 rupees from bloody Xavier's.
I didn't have money to go on a rickshaw.
4 of us would share and fight over the 2 bucks that we were carrying.
Good days, yaar.
Good days. Inflation कहाँ से आते हैं यार? Imagine if it was the same.
Somewhere I feel it's coming back here.
What? The price will come down?
No, those days, those feelings, I think we went through.
Oh, we're becoming the.
We are becoming. Cut, huh? मतलब हो गया. अच्छा, why are you still watching? Bye. See you. But seriously, I feel it's coming back.
Yeah.
I feel there's a.
Or with the building uncles. वो अपना ज़माना में ये अपना ज़माना में वो अपना ये अपना वो.
I'm not a building uncle at all.
Bro, we become it. You can't.
I'm still the building child.
The moment we start saying कि boss 90s में ये था, you're talking about the pricing of the taxi car fare and all that.
Yeah.
You can't help it. Oh, I start telling you that cricket was better.
But
Sachin was playing against better bowlers. It's immediately like you deny where you are.
Nice. I like it. Good fun. Thanks, man.
Bro,
this was nice. I don't know what we spoke about, but it was nice. It was done.
Bro, this is a good podcast when you just chat.
It is.
I don't care about it. Format, man.
Thanks, Gan. Thank you.